Okay, hello, अस्सलाम वालेकुम everyone. हम तिलावत से शुरू करते हैं. तो हमजा, can you please do the tilawat?
Walaikum assalam. Sure. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. मेरा नाम महविश है और मैं हब 47 के operations team की member हूँ. Sorry. Okay, I hope you all can hear me fine. Alright, let's start. तो आज के वर्कशॉप में हमने ऐसे एक टॉपिक सेलेक्ट किए जो आजकल के ज़माने में बहुत ज़रूरी है और हमें तेज़ी से कैचअप करना पड़ रहा है और वो है एआई. और आज के वर्कशॉप लीडर मिस्टर शिराज अहमद हैं, जिनको मैं अभी थोड़ी देर में इंट्रोड्यूस करती हूँ. शुरू करने के लिए आई थिंक आई विल स्टार्ट बाय टेलिंग यू लिटिल बिट अबाउट आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है पाकिस्तान एसोसिएशन दुबई. हेलो, सॉरी. I think मैं फ्रीज हो गई थी. Sorry. Okay, let me share my screen now. Alright. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. Oh, I think volume नहीं आ रहा है. I think आपको वीडियो का ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा. वीडियो की ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा ना. अगर मैं वीडियो सॉरी अगर Okay, thank you for watching that short introduction about Pakistan Association Dubai. अभी मैं आपको थोड़ा हब 47 के बारे में बताती हूँ. हब 47 पाकिस्तान एसोसिएशन दुबई का लेटेस्ट इनिशिएटिव है जो अभी हमें एग्जैक्टली 2 years हुए हैं ऑपरेशनली. हब 47 काफ़ी चीज़ें कम्युनिटी को देता है. फॉर एग्जांपल हम बिजनेसेस को सपोर्ट देते हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वर्क स्पेसेस, मेंटरिंग, नेटवर्किंग इवेंट्स और इस तरह की वर्कशॉप्स. सो यू कैन कॉल अस अ बिजनेस इंक्यूबेटर और एक्सेलरेटर. अभी हमने रिसेंटली एक स्टार्टअप्स के बैच को ग्रेजुएट करा है और अभी नेक्स्ट बैच के एप्लीकेशन ओपन है. आज लास्ट डे है एक्चुअली. हमारे इवेंट्स के लिए और जनरली हमारे पास काफ़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ हम काम कर रहे हैं. जस्ट फॉर एग्जांपल हमारी पार्टनरशिप्स हैं एनआईसी के साथ जो पाकिस्तान में होती है, कनेडियन स्टार्टअप एसोसिएशन और सीएक्सओ ग्लोबल फोरम. हमारी वर्कशॉप्स और कुछ इवेंट्स पब्लिक होते हैं तो उनके साथ कीप अप करने के लिए आप हमारे सोशल मीडिया पर फॉलो कर लें. लिंक्डइन, इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक, उन सब पर हब 47 PAD के नाम से. ये पूरा इनिशिएटिव हमारे वॉलंटियर्स और स्पॉन्सर्स की वजह से पॉसिबल होता है. हम सब इधर वॉलंटियर्स हैं और अपनी अपनी फील्ड्स में एक्सपीरियंस हैं. और अगर आप में से कोई हमारे साथ कम्युनिटी के लिए कुछ करना चाहते हैं या हमें स्पॉन्सर करना चाहते हैं तो प्लीज़ रीच आउट टू अस ऑन आवर वेबसाइट और सोशल मीडिया. हमारी वेबसाइट है hub47.ae. मैं चैट में भी डाल देती हूँ. तो अगर आप हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाते हैं you can see more about us, and if you would like to volunteer or sponsor or be a mentor, then we would love to have you on board as well. So that's enough about us. Let me briefly introduce you to today's speaker, Mr. Shiraz Ahmed. Shiraz is an AI and business strategist with 24 years of experience. Shiraz, I hope I'm pronouncing his company name right. I think it's GrowWive. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's correct.
GrowWive. Okay, great. शिराज ग्रोवाइव के फाउंडर और सीईओ हैं और उन्होंने काफ़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस और लीडर्स को कंसल्टिंग और कोचिंग प्रोवाइड किया है उनकी ग्रोथ के लिए. So he partners with business leaders to accelerate growth, optimize profitability, and future-proof organizations through AI-driven tools and practical frameworks. He's a certified business coach, an EXO sprint coach, and culture fix actuator. तो उनकी एक्सपीरियंस काफ़ी एरियाज में है, कंसल्टिंग, आईटी, ई-कॉमर्स, एजुकेशन और ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म, जिनमें उन्होंने सक्सेसफुली मल्टी बिजनेस यूनिट्स को लीड करा है. So that was just a short introduction. I'll hand it over now to you, Shiraz. Thank you.
Thank you, Mavish. Thank you for the intro. Can you give me access to share my screen again, please?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Okay, I have given you the access, yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, Ji. So let me start this with two questions, and I would love if you can raise your hand अगर आपका वीडियो ऑन है, और अगर वीडियो ऑन नहीं भी है तो maybe if you in the chat you can show your hand. So how many of you feel that AI will dramatically change your industry within the next 2 years? So with the show of hands, अगर आप हाथ ऊपर करके मुझे बता सकें या कोई icon के through बता सकें? How many of you feel like that the industry would dramatically change in 2 to 5 years? और इसका follow-up question ये है कि how many of would you like to have a clear roadmap to focus on what matters the most? So how many of you would like to have that kind of insight as well? Okay, so thank you for the feedback. Moving on, my name is Shiraz, as Mavish said, and welcome to this workshop of Accelerate Growth. Right? The idea of this and the concept behind this workshop is to help business leaders, whether you are working in an organization or whether even if you are a student, to get a simple AI playbook that can help your company to drive future results. The big promise for this workshop, and before that, I would also like to thank you, HUB47, for providing this opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Also, thank you all for coming over, spending your time with us today. The big promise for this workshop is that if AI is properly integrated, you will have more profitable, productive and powerful business. So that is the big promise that we are focusing on. The three key learning or three benefits that you can expect to take out from today is we'll talk about the foundational perspective about AI. I'll help you with some guidance on how you define your AI strategy. And lastly, we'll see how you can lead this transformation. So these are the three benefits that you should expect today. Although Mavish has given some intro, but very quickly, I'll show my journey. So I am an entrepreneur turned entrepreneur, a corporate executive with 20 years of experience on the corporate side. And then I went into the entrepreneurship field. As you can see, right after 2020, I started my own venture by the name of GrowHive, which is Growth Hive. And I always had this passion of helping business leaders, how they can simplify growth scale and make their organization exponential. That's how I started my journey as an entrepreneur with GrowHive. Then I did my business coaching certification with 2 companies. I also realized by the same time that the exponential growth cannot happen if you don't have an accelerating technology with you. That's where EXO consultant and sprint coach certification came in. During this same path, I also realized that without people, nothing is going to happen. So I went into culture coaching and culture actuation. And lastly, last year, since AI was exploding, everybody was running right, left, and center. I did my AI consultant certification through Industry Rockstar, and that's what I'm doing right now. Moving on, to get the most out of this workshop, I would highly recommend you focus, participate, and take some notes. The idea of this session is to have a kind of a workshop rather than just a masterclass, जो कि one-way affair होता है. So I'll try my level best to take your feedback in, and if you'll participate and take notes, definitely it will add a lot of value to you. So starting off, so this is a quote by David Rose. This is a very old quote, I would say like good 10 years back, that he said that any company designed for success in the 20th century is doomed to be failure in the 21st century. And this is what we are seeing right now. What is happening is that we all know, and I think this is not something that is hidden right now, the world is changing faster than anyone has predicted. And why this is happening is specifically not because of AI only, but because of the, what we call it is as in our community term is the Gutenberg moment. So there was a guy by the name of Gutenberg, and when he invented the disruption in the press side, that was the Gutenberg moment in the press revolution. And with these changing technologies, artificial intelligence obviously leading the front, but with blockchain, biotechnology, AR, quantum computing, solar, we are seeing almost there are 20 exponential technologies that are converging at a rate which was never imagined before. And that is basically a Gutenberg moment of 20 converging technologies. And that's why what we see right now is the rapid change and development. The other thing that people also miss out on is that the deception of linear versus exponential growth. So you see, as humans, our brain is trained to think in a linear fashion. We always think in a linear fashion, but the change or the disruption happens in an exponential fashion. So if you look at this graph here, if you see, this is where we were in AI before, and then suddenly an exponential shift happened, and you see the chaos and amazement that happened with AI. And that's where, as business leaders and team leaders, we need to focus on to ensure that we are up in our game, so to identify these moments and able to predict when the change is coming in. I'm also a student of Peter Diamandis' 7 Ds of Abundance. What it also says is, and these are some conceptual foundational elements that I'm trying to share, which says is that most of the businesses are built on the scarcity model, which means that we build businesses in a form that it is in a closed loop kind of a cycle. But what these 7 Ds show you is that now what is happening is that digitization is, or digital is, the first element in every transformation. So ये पुराना word है, आप कहते हैं जी digital transformation. So digital transformation is the starting step. हम 10 साल से सुन रहे हैं. But what is actually going to change the game is how you look at these 7 Ds, which is when digitalization happened, there is a deception period, which I showed you in the last graph. And then after that, disruption happened. And this is where the disruption actually happens. Then the things become demonetized. When we say demonetized, इसका मतलब ये है कि we have all seen how things have changed in the solar, right? In the camera. पहले वो चीजें expensive थी, अब वो demonetized होती जा रही हैं and people have access to it. Things also become dematerialized, which means that the concept of having physical product is no longer that attractive, and we are all moving towards digital product. And lastly, we have the democratized region, which is where the world is moving towards, which is abundance. If you look at the business model today of every company, they are all based on abundance. When I say every company, which is a successful company, the top companies in the world like Facebook, Netflix, they have built their business model on the abundance factor. Now, what this is doing is that our world is becoming from analog to digital to autonomous, and that is where, in this era of AI, business leaders and people who are in organization needs to focus on. We need to focus on how this abundance and autonomous areas will shape up the game. So, with that, I would like to ask, like maybe in the chat, if you can share with me what is what is the stage of journey your organization is in the AI area. So maybe in the chat, if you can share, and maybe Mavish is looking at the chat, hopefully. So can you provide some insight as to what is the stage that your company is in the AI journey? Like it's in the starting stage, you are developing use cases, you're working on pilot projects. I would love to hear from you guys also in the chat as to where you see your company in the AI journey. Okay.
क्या कह रहे हैं आप और कैसे?
Yep. Very early, almost paperless. Okay. So moving on. And obviously, as I said, I'll try to make this as an interactive session, but if you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A section, and maybe raise your hand also. We can take up questions as we go along, but we'll have dedicated 10 minutes at the end to for a question and answer session. So this workshop, as I said, this is divided into 3 key areas. Now we'll be talking about the foundational perspective on AI. Second area, as I said, is I'll give you a clear framework as to how you can define your AI strategy. And the third section would be how you can lead in this AI transformation.
Technical issues are right.
Sounds good? So just since I just want to make sure everything is on track, if you can just give me a thumbs up on Zoom at least, if you are with me so far, or just type a yes in the chat. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. All right. So the foundational perspective of AI, again, as I said, by purpose, I've designed this workshop not on the technical side, but just to give you an insight as to, with all the things happening in AI, there is a lot of chaos, right? So when I say chaos, um, every day there is a new technology that is coming in, and as business leaders, we are in a limbo as to what to do and what to do. So with this workshop, at least you'll get an idea as to where to start from and what to look for, and that's like my one of my goal of this workshop. So we all know. So very interestingly, you see, artificial intelligence, as I was saying, started in somewhere around 1950. And a very simple definition of artificial intelligence is then when human intelligence is exhibited by machines, right? Then we had machine learning in 1980s, and then deep learning in 2010. And lastly, the world has been exploded by generative AI in 2020. So that has been the journey. And if you just recall the graph that I showed you about the linear versus exponential growth, you'll realize how this exponential growth has happened over the years. Um, and as humans, our partnership with AI has been like, so these are the different levels that different people are. So as I asked, some are at level 1, which is initial AI exploration, working with AI occasionally, working with on AI regularly, building new things, partnering with AI, which is the symbiosis phase. So I would also love to hear from you on chat, like on what level you feel your organization or as an individual, your personal knowledge you are at. Like just write level 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever level you are on the AI side in the chat, please. So if you'll provide me some input, I'll tailor my conversation accordingly. So if you, as I said, if you participate, share some input, because online, since I cannot see most of you, it's difficult to get like the frequency matching. So just let me know where you are. Okay. So moving on. So this is a very simple way of understanding how the AI would get implemented or would disrupt our life. So this is reference from Code of Innovation, one of the companies that is actively working on this. So the AI adoption will follow 3 waves, right? So the first wave is based specifically on the productivity part. And specifically, if businesses are only using AI to improve productivity, they are making a big mistake. The second wave is for the better quality and output of whatever we do in our business, which is about enhancing the quality of the output that we are making, making the process faster. The third wave, which is a very important wave, is coming up with new business ideas or totally new ways of doing business. This is where the game is actually going to change. And if we are not going to act based on these 3 waves and focus on the wave 3 at the end of the day, we'll be left behind. So as individuals and as business heads and business leads, we need to understand that only focusing AI in the first wave would not take us to the exponential path that we are looking for. We have to focus on all the 3 waves. Obviously, this is going to happen sequentially. Currently, if you see, a lot of development is happening in wave 1 and 2, but people are not too focused on wave 3, which is the new system. The agentic AI development is kind of moving towards that, but still developing new models and developing new ways of doing things would actually change the game. Just to give you an example here, so that these 3 waves are clear. So for example, if we are doing a video editing. So can I do video editing faster and cheaper? This is wave one. If you see, most of the focus is. Then when the focus is moved toward, can we get better quality video, which most few of the people are working on? That's wave two. And the wave three is when we have a real-time movie generation for the audience without human involvement, which is the autonomous part that I said. So being successful in wave one or even in wave two would not guarantee that you will be successful. So we have to address all the three waves in order to be successful in the era of AI. Okay. Okay. So why you need to take action? Over half of the world is implementing business right now and exploring business AI. So one thing is for sure that everybody knows that AI would play a very significant role in the future. So everybody is trying to implement. AI is like helping businesses grow 37% faster. So this is again coming from a lot of surveys and a lot of fact that AI will help the growth, and the current estimated is 37. This will grow in the future for sure. But the tricky part is that the implementation percentage is very low. And when I say implementation percent, I'm not saying like people using AI just as a tool to improve something of the daily work that they do. They use LLM or they use ChatGPT. What I'm saying is actually using AI for the business growth and implementing it in a way which is actually changing the game. So that percentage is only 2%. Most businesses are falling behind. So the question for you is that is your business up to the speed, or it is also failing behind? So that's a very, very important area that every business leader, whether a team lead, whether if you're working in an organization, you need to bring that attention in towards that, how well we are implementing AI, not just talking about it. Now, the challenge that I see in a lot of circles that I am involved with, in locally, internationally, where I join in masterminds, is the implementation speed is slow, as I said, but how well the implementation and how well the ROI is coming from AI is still a big question mark for most of the companies. So why implementation is slow? Again, as I said, the overwhelm. There are like close to 70,000 AI tools and different foundational models that exist. Yeah, it's a surprising number. For few people, they have no idea what is possible because, again, the thought process is linear. They're not thinking exponentially. Change management is always difficult in organization. People are still scared, so they have internal resistance. They are also scared of the systematic impact. When I say systematic impact, a lot of concern about AI governance, AI ethics. So that is also there. And lastly, very important, the ROI. Because you see, I was reading a quote from Sam Altman. He said that if you just write thank you and please, it costs millions and millions of dollars to open AI, right? Because on the face of it, it looks very simple, but AI, there is a cost. Like when you do tokenization and when you go into more details, there is a cost associated with going into the agentic world and doing that stuff. So ROI is a very significant element. So iska bhi jo pura spectrum hai, we have to ensure that that's there and we take care of that. So out of these areas that you see in the screen, why you think, what's your opinion? If you can put a few comments in the chat, why you think, first of all, whether you agree, type yes or no, that the AI implementation is slow. And then secondly, in which area you see is the most problematic area. So whether it's overwhelm, people have no idea, change management, return on the value side. So just in the chat, if you can please share your feedback as to why you think the implementation is slow. Lack of awareness. Yeah, people are afraid of tech. So one of the terms that is used in AI is like AI is the new electricity. So as electricity shaped up the entire industries, AI is going to do the same. This is a given fact. There is no question about it. effort required and not having clarity of the ROI. Yeah, I think this is a very, to me, also very, very important part is the ROI, because once you go more deep into AI, LinkedIn, you'll see like AI is being implemented like anything. But when you actually go into the details of AI and stuff like that, you'll find out that the ROI and all those things are very, very difficult to get if you do not implement it properly with code. Some are slow learners and stable comfort zone. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So thank you for chiming in the chat. Really appreciate that. And as I said, if you'll provide the feedback, you'll see it will be more beneficial to you. Okay. So again, my job here is to make it easy and affordable. When I say affordable is the tool you use and the technologies you apply. If you go with a lot of hit and trial, you're obviously investing a lot. But if you know exactly where to hit the nail, then you are on the right track. And since it's a necessary transformation, I think there is no two questions to hold this. So this ends the section 1, which is basically how AI is impacting the landscape and some of the foundational element. I would also like your quick feedback on, before I start with this section, on the strategy part. So if in the chat, can you please share, do you have a clearly defined AI strategy that, yeah, so perfect. So the poll is there. Thank you, Mavi, for that. So do you have a clearly defined AI strategy with your business goal? Okay. In progress? No. Okay. In progress. So when I say strategy, these are not kind of those minor tools. So one of the key differentiation while people are putting in the chat or in the poll. So you see, strategy is always long term. So strategy is not a plan. This is a clear distinction that you need to make. I'll talk more about it in the next session. But strategy is what is the long-term plan or long-term kind of your aspiration or vision about the AI strategy, AI. Okay. So we have like 50-50 right now. All right. So poll closing in 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So I hope so you guys can see the result, right? So it's 50%. They are saying they have no strategy, and almost 50% are saying 43% that it's in progress. All right. So this is also one of my favorite quote. We can have a lot of technology, but it makes no difference if we don't master the technique. Which is again, when I say technique here, I specifically meant the strategy part, because tactics without strategy will just end in nowhere. So we have to first ensure we have the right strategy, whether it's a business strategy, which is then going to align with the AI strategy. So now this section, I'll try to make it more interactive. Let's move forward. Back. Okay, and as I said, so you need a structured approach to sustain a scale, to sustain and scale growth through AI. So if you look at the pink line, it is just going to happen through a structured approach. It's not going to happen if we just use randomly ChatGPT and ask them how I can do my work better, how I can write proposal. So prompt engineering, as we say, it's a very, very important aspect of AI, generative AI, but this is not going to help organization become exponential. My goal, as I said initially, is to ensure that I help organization to become exponential organization. So you need to have a very structured approach. Now, I'm going to give you a very simplified solution about how to understand and how to go about it. This framework is basically a framework for any business. Like say, if you want to scale a business or grow a business, you can use this framework. So for an understanding perspective, 3 key areas that every business needs to focus on, whether you're a startup, whether you are a grown up, whether you are a scale up, or whether you are a mature organization, you need to have these 3 things nailed down. The first thing is the people part, because without people, nothing is going to change. So how you ensure that from a disengaged workforce, you make your workforce engaged, be it in AI or any other initiative that you are carrying out. So that's the first area. The second is the strategy part that we talked about. And the entire goal of strategy is to bring clarity from ambiguity. So if you ask a question, or if I ask you a question, can you define your strategy, let's say business strategy, in 1 sentence? So if you're able to answer this question properly, you have a very good strategy, right? And the third area is execution. So people do reach to a point where they do have the strategy, but they don't have a flow. So how to move from friction to flow to ensure that things are executed. So this framework or this Venn diagram will show you what are the key elements that you need to address. So there are 9 levers that you need to pull. We don't have enough time to actually go into all the 9 levers, but I'll just give you these insights so you know exactly if you are going to grow your startup, your grown up, or your scale up, what are the 9 levers that you can tweak and pull, obviously sequentially or in parallel, that would help your company to grow. And from these 9 levers, we are going to talk about what are the key elements to focus on the AI part also. Okay. So far making sense? So if, yeah, in the chat, if you can let me know if you guys are with me. Am I clear? So what I'm trying to show you right now is, so we are in the AI development section, how to define your AI strategy. And as I said, this is kind of a workshop, and we'll go into a Google Doc and ask you to do some work also. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm giving you a framework as to how you should think about strategy in journal first, and then map your AI strategy accordingly. Because just writing things on paper or here, there, it would not help. So that's the whole idea. So these 9 elements, if you look at the people part, if you look at from an AI angle also, you need to have an organizational culture which supports AI. If the culture is not there for innovation, nothing is going to change. Your leadership needs to be fluent in AI. So if you really want to be the leader in next 2-3 years in your industry, this is the first question that I ask. Your leadership needs to be fluent. Let's say if you're a startup, you have 2-3 people. Again, you still need to have this fluency. Talent, and we'll talk about this in next few slides. The talent needs to upskill. So there is, at this point in time, there is no question about human jobs going away. It would be a kind of an AI assisted kind of an environment that organization will work on. So the talent needs to be upgraded. Now the strategy part, you need to have a unified vision. If you don't know where you're going, it's not going to help. You need to have your differentiator or a unique value proposition, which will bring your competitive advantage based on your customer insights, your customer focus. And lastly, once you define that, you build your execution clock. The execution clock is simply in different areas of your organization, which is marketing, sales, admin, supply chain, operations, how you implement AI and other stuff. So it moves into a proper clock cycle. And then you have optimized AI-based system, which will eventually result in improved cash flows. So at the end of the day, there's a famous thing that we use in the business circle. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. So if you just focus on revenue, it's not going to help. You have to focus on profitability. And at the end of the day, if cash is not dropping in your bank account, you are going nowhere. And if And if we focus on these elements, we'll have high performance, you'll be able to get market dominance and increase profitability. And at the end of the day, this will help you to become a high impact exponential organization. So this is a very in-depth framework that I normally take it with my high-end business leaders client and where the companies where I coach in. This gives you a complete guideline as to how you can go about and scale and grow your organization exponentially. So far, so good. If you can give me a thumbs up on Zoom or again on chat, that would be great. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So moving on. So now I'll give you the 3 key stages of how you need to think about when you develop your AI strategy, right? As I said, again, few of you might be expecting that we'll be talking about few of the tools, some gimmicks and stuff like that. I'll show you that also in a while. But again, the important factor is you need to define where you are heading towards first as a business leader, even as an individual, so that you are able to get the maximum out of this revolutionary change that AI is bringing. So 3 stages. Number 1 is analyze your current state, which is analyzing what will change and what will not change. And that's where the AI value would come in. You don't need to focus on like throwing AI at everything. If things that can be done and they won't change, you don't need to focus on that. Then you need to define your AI strategy, which we just discussed about. And lastly, you are going to build your AI roadmap. So in the strategy, as I've already explained, but in the roadmap, talk about what are your strategic pillars, what are your priorities, what are your objectives, and what are the capabilities that you need to bring in. So if you just follow these 3 simple steps, you'll be able to build a roadmap or a AI strategic framework that you can use to help and grow your organization. So, Mavish, if you can kindly drop the Google link in the chat. Thank you. So if you guys can please open this Google link. This is view only access. You can make a copy and use it for yourself. So this is a complete 1-page AI strategic planning framework that you can use in your organization. Again, this can be used in whether you are a startup or any stage of business you are in. So let me know in the chat if you can access this document, please. So all of you can access the document. Can you see the document? Okay, so this is a simple document. Since this is an online workshop, normally this is a, and again, as I said, my goal today is to give you a lot of value. Normally these kind of workshop cost thousands of dollars, but again, this is the framework that I normally use with my coaching clients, and I'm giving you this workshop so that you can take it as a valuable action item from today and use this to develop your own AI strategic implementation framework. So as I said, there are 3 areas that you need to focus on. First is analyze the current state. The second is you define your AI strategy. And in the AI strategy, you have your competitive advantage, your AI vision, your future state, your strategic choices, and then you build your AI roadmap. Right. So this is how you you can take your foundational element, and for your own company, whether you are working as a senior leader or just as a team member, you can even share this with your management team and use it to a greater extent. So ideally, I wanted, because we don't have like enough time, since it's a 75 minutes workshop. So we will not go more into detail as to how to do it, but I'll just share an example as to what are the ingredients that can go into these areas. So it will make the concept more clear. Sounds good? Okay. So the first part, when you go about in doing this exercise, what are the questions that you need to ask? And specifically, we are talking about AI now, how to use AI, Gen AI, or whatever you want to call it. What AI technologies are transforming your industries, and what regulation, risk, or disruption or industry. So you need to ask these external trend questions. Then you need to see the market readiness. You need to assess your internal capabilities. You can do a SWOT analysis, which is a very old tool, but very powerful if done correctly, again. And then lastly, you need to assess your cultural readiness. I've worked with many companies, 100 of leaders now. One of the things that I realized, and that's why I went into the culture part in my certification, as I shared earlier, is that if you don't have the right culture, scaling or growing an organization to a level would not be possible. So you need to have the engagement built in. So that's the first area, which is the external or internal analysis, getting to your state. Few of the tools that you can use, I've also listed the tools that you can use to get to this mark. Again, I'm very openly giving you all the insights so that in your own time you can take these valuable information and build your own AI strategic framework. All good? So let me know in the chat if the first part is clear. That. So all good? Okay. So this is the first part. And again, I know the questions are not coming in right now, but you can, yeah. So I see one question. Maybe we can take this question at the end. So Mehtab, we will address this question at the end. But maybe I can just go about this is one question I can answer. So business need to be transformed to digital before the AI adoption comes into implementation. Yeah. So one of the slides that I shared, Mehtab, was so digital is the first part, and which is very common now, right? So you need to go into the digital part first, and then you need to go into the disruption part, which is actually these exponential technologies like AI, blockchain, and others are doing, which is making this exponential growth or exponential curve, enabling the exponential curve. So absolutely, it's very necessary that you go with digital, and then from there onward, you start your journey. As I said, this is a myth that we normally people say we need to start digital transformation. I think digital is something that is happening now in most of the organization, but you need to take it further to develop new business models so that you can lead the transformation rather than just be a victim of leaving behind. Okay. So this is the first part. Second part, your vision. Again, you need to have your company vision first. Obviously, this is aligned with that. So these are the areas that you need to think about in the vision part. So what is your AI vision statement? What you want actually to do with AI? Because you see, unless and until you think, since we have moved into the strategy section, this is the second section, vision is part of the strategy section. Unless and until you have a long-term goal, have a vision, you would not get the most out of AI. As I said, just using AI for productivity areas, it's good. It would save you some money, but it would not take your organization to an exponential level. So you need to think on these lines about the vision, that how is your vision statement, what is the future state you want to see, and what are the guiding principles. So very, very, very important area. Third, within the strategy side is the competitive advantage. Now, which are the areas of competitive advantage that you need to look into? What are the unique data assets? This is the focus area. What is the customer experience you want to improve? In which area you want to get operational excellence? And last is speed and innovation. Again, these are just examples. Once you do this analysis, asking the right questions, you can come up with your own key considerations, right? Again, there's a famous saying which says that it's the question that we need to ask. It's the right question that we need to ask. You know the answers already. So if you ask the right questions, you will be able to formulate a better AI strategy. And lastly, you need to come up with your strategic choices and strategic pillar. One of the problems I have seen with many organizations is that they focus on too many things and end up in nothing. So you need to focus on like max 3-4 areas, maximum 5, not more than 5. So golden rule is minimum 3, maximum 5. Focus on and define your strategic pillars. So for example, customer experience in AI, AI for operation, AI powered products, AI for design intelligence, responsible AI and ethics. So these are your strategic choices. And again, I've shared example as to what will go into this, and you can review it on your own time. Once you have your strategic choices, then the last area is execution. So in execution, you define your priorities, which is for 1 year, what you're going to do. You define a proper priority area, very clearly define, build a centralized data lake. So for example, if you're talking about AI, launch an AI pilot for customers. These are your initiatives that you'll take, aligning with your strategy, which is the pillar. You define a timeline, you define a proper accountability owner, because one of the other challenges is that if you are trying to implement this in an organization, if you don't have proper accountability, this is also not going to work. So define the proper accountability, that who's going to do what. It is not the only so the focus needs to come in from the CEO, but then every other person who has a functional responsibility needs to chime in to play his part. So you define the priority, and then out of these priorities, you make very clear objectives that this is what you want to do. You want to automate your tier 1 support. Because once you write these things down, you'll see that you'll be able to get to these. What are the KPIs? And again, as I said, one of the problems that AI implementation has, that you don't get the proper ROI. But if you have the right KPIs and objective with proper benchmarks and goal defined, you'll be able to get the ROI. And lastly, you go with the key capabilities or your drivers. So what are the key capabilities that you need to build in order to do the above that you have just defined in your execution part? So you have proper infrastructure for data, because you see, the basis of AI is algorithm and data. So if you don't have proper data infrastructure, you will not be able to get the benefit out of the AI. What about the talent? What about change management, governance, tech stack and risk, and obviously the leadership fluency in AI? On the right side, which is my right side of the screen, I've also given you a small chart as to how you can make a very quick decision about build versus buy. So this is also that you can look into and come up with the implementation framework. So this guideline can help you define your AI strategy and your implementation framework. So the first part of this framework, which is till the strategic choices, is your AI strategy. And the later part, starting from priority, is your roadmap. If you look at this screen, you'll see that section C is to build your AI roadmap. So you build your roadmap by defining your priorities, objectives, and the capabilities and drivers that are required. Any questions, or just give me a thumbs up if you guys are with me in the chat, please. Also, let me know, am I making sense? It's too high level.
Hi, Shahan here. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, Shahan.
Yes, how do you engage your customers in this discussion on build versus buy? Like, why would a customer build, and under what conditions would he buy or purchase a ready-made solution off the shelf?
Yeah, so this AI strategic implementation framework that we are doing, this is specifically, first of all, for you, is for your internal development, right? So your internal AI development. And I'm going to answer about the customer as well, but this is the build versus buy situation for your own company. So let's say, do you want to do this in-house, or do you want to partner with a third-party company to develop an AI solution for you, right? So the first element is there. The second element, let's say if you are consulting a customer, then obviously you can use the same framework to see where the capabilities are for the customer. So for example, if you go towards this chart, so it says that if the factor is strategic importance and it's core to the business, so you build internally, right? If it's a supporting function, then you might go to do a buy solution. So again, so you can use this small table, first of all, for internally developing your AI strategy for yourself. And then if you are talking to a customer, then you can ask these questions to the customer and taking them through this. Like, for example, if the time to value is longer potential, then you develop internally. But if it is shorter, then you go for a buy solution. Again, there could be other factors that you can consider, but with AI and with so much happening and with all the tech around, there will always be a decision of build versus buy. I hope I'm able to answer your question. All right, thank you. Okay, so any questions so far on this? We can make it more interactive. I don't mind keeping it to the last. So there is a question in the chat. I can go through it. Being into SME, a solar company deals with good workflows. Okay, yeah. So this is a very good question, and in fact, a very common question. To answer this question, you see, you need to also understand a difference between automation and AI. So automation is the first step. As you have written that you have done process automation in few areas. And again, I'll share in the end as to how you an assessment that you can do to actually see where you are actually in your AI journey. Now, which tools to use would be dependent on which process you want to identify. So I'll just share a few of the tools in the next slides with you. So you'll get an idea of which kind of tools are available. But again, more of my recommendation and suggestion would be you have this AI strategic implementation framework built first and define your priorities. So for example, you would say that we want to automate our procurement, or we want to AI-fy our business. And in that AI-fying, we want to AI-fy procurement first. So procurement is an area where you'll spend most of the time. And now we can dive more into tools. I can share maybe later that. So as I said, there are like almost 70,000 tools and LLMs available in the market. I can share a few tools later, but again, first develop this AI strategy. And in the section number 3, we'll talk about how you can go about implementation and selecting some tools. Okay. Now, if there are other questions in the chat. All right. So I hope.
Sorry, Mr.
Yeah.
Shiraz, can I? This is Mehtab. Now, I thought I will talk to you. We have a good understanding of very high level what AIs are doing. We know ChatGPT, we know DeepSeek, these type of things, but going into a business and specifically thinking that how even a particular process or particular module which is already being digitized. So I'm really not clear that how AI I can bring AI, because within the tool there are some AIs like the CRM which I'm using. I have a built-in AI as well. but I'm not really sure that that is the only AI I should use, or I should bring something else as an overall AI, which can make more things efficient, which can save the time of my team. Of course, even if it is automated or digitized, still they have to go, they have to select a product, they have to do the quotations, all those type of things. So I'm just not very clear that how AI can help me to bring more efficiencies, to bring more time saving for the team so that they can focus on the bigger things. So this is still, to be honest, bit of vague of for me. So I might need your help maybe at the end of the session. I don't want to interrupt in the middle, but if you can please give us some clarity on this at the end of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. So what I'll do is right after this, the section 3 within the workshop is focusing more on the implementation part. So I'll go through the implementation part, and then we can certainly talk about your question at the end. Okay. So any questions? So just to bring everybody on the same page. So we have talked about the foundational elements, understanding the challenges and where AI is right now. The second area that we are now discussing is the how you define your AI strategy, which is the long-term vision of the AI, right? And to a certain extent, the question that you just asked, you see, if you are able to write few of the points on this sheet, this will also give you more clarity as to what part of business you need to further AIfy and take it forward. So my suggestion would be to fill this up. You have this example here also, and you can use it later on to actually write few things up as to what you really want to do with AI as a strategy, and what is the kind of roadmap that you feel like you want to do. And then the last part would be till what extent we want to AIfy our business, right? Whether we want to go towards the autonomous area right now, or we just want to wait. Because as I said, there is a cost involved in implementing this. So again, so yeah. All right. So yeah. So I was saying that this is the second part, and if there are any questions, then please let me know, or we can move towards the next part. So far, so good. Okay. So now we are going into the section 3. So as I said, first section, basic understanding. Second, how you define your long-term goal with AI, which is your strategy. And the third part is now how you lead the transformation. So maybe if you have a poll, maybe can you run the poll, please, if that's working? So this poll is about the value of AI. Which areas do you believe AI can add the most value in your business today? Again, this is kind of continues to the question that we had.
Is this the right poll, Shiraz?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you. And I'll talk about there are more areas, but just to, because these are the most common areas, I understand there should be an option here to, like, if there are other area, but let's say if you're just considering these 4 areas, where you feel AI can add most value in your business today. Because you see, at the end of the day, it's very important and to understand that where the value is. So having a tool for the sake of having AI would not give any benefit to the business, right? So that's absolutely important to understand where the value is coming in. Customer experience, decision-making analytics, and product and service and innovation. Okay, so 11 people have responded so far. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll in next 5 seconds. So would appreciate if you can quickly do that. All right, so I'll just end the poll, and you can see the result on your screen now. Yeah, so operation is 50%, customer experience is 14, and then decision making and analytics and product and service innovation. All right, so thank you for the feedback. Let's move forward. So the key to success won't be the technology, but the design of a new operating model to unlock its real value. Again, I'm continuously sharing this message across because you see, using a tool just for the sake of productivity would not help. As business leaders, as we go into this era of AI, I would say, you need to think it how you can get the real value by creating totally a new way of doing things. So, for example, the question was that we were using CRM already. How we can like change the game about CRM is something that's where the thought process needs to go in. So another thing that is happening is that we will need to match vastly the different clock speed. So what is happening is that AI is working in seconds and minutes. People work in hours and days, and organizational structures are based on weeks and months, right? So this is also kind of holding the organization to get the value out of AI, and the implementation is also slow. Because if you have a very tall organization structure, which is not flat, then this is also a challenge. And the second challenge is the people, right? Obviously, if you just talk about even a startup, or if you are even 2-3 people, if you don't have the right people in the right place doing the right things, as the famous saying of Jim Collins, then you would not be able to implement AI, which is actually working in seconds and minutes. Even like the rapid change in technology is like every day something new is coming up. So this is from a survey from BCG. This was done in January, and this is like from top leaders of the world. You see, currently people do understand that in order to create the value, you need to focus 70% on people and processes. The technology and the algorithm part would definitely be taken care of, because if you have the right people, they can define the technology and algorithm that you will be able to use. And obviously, when you say about people, it could be internal people, they could be external people. So you need to see when you define workflows, you need to see, because these are the struggles that 2 out of 3 companies have. As one of the team member was saying that you need to reimagine workflows, you need to do different stuff. And how AI would be implemented, at least for the next couple of years, this is what I feel based on my experience. It could be different also, but you see, executives see talent and AI is complementary. Wherever there is a fear, you need to understand that AI is going to remain, but the human in the loop workflows, as we say, would be very prevalent in the next 1 or 2 years. And then we'll see how the technology progress and if we go towards the agentic part more or not, but that is something that time will tell. But if you see, 64% of the things would happen when AI and humans are working side by side, which is humans working and AI being working as assistant. And then 22% where AI taking the major role, which we see in the agents like Manus and Operator from OpenAI and stuff like that. So how is AI transforming businesses? A few key highlights. So what we see is that there are conversational AI chatbots. There are LLMs assisting your process, media content production, in personalization, automating complex workflows, and lastly, in journal workflows. So let me quickly see if I can run this few of the examples of different tools, not exactly the ones that you've asked for, but let me see if I can show you some examples.
Hi, this is Alessia Minkus. Artificial intelligence has completely revolutionized the world. In fact,
Is the voice clear? So, Mavish, can you hear the video voice?
Yes, it's clear.
It's clear. So basically, apologies for the sensitive image, but this is a AI-based clone.
I'm not actually Alessia
So I just wanted to show
Minkus.
you that.
I'm a clone of Alessia Minkus. This process made possible by artificial intelligence is simply amazing because it saves me a massive amount of time and effort.
So I would not go with the entire video, but just wanted to share with you that one of the applications that specifically in the learning and teaching side, somebody asked me, somebody wrote in the questions of the registration that how you can use in the learning and development side, you can use with that. High fidelity digital humans made easy. So we are seeing that avatars are being created. And again, why we're doing this is that the world is shifting towards having AI-based employees, right? So these technologies are going to help in enabling that. Okay, let's move on. So these images that you see in front of your screen, these are all avatars, right? So these are not actual, would say people. These are avatars or clones that have been created, and you can run those and without you being present. And this is like getting cheaper day by day. As I said, when dematerialization is going to happen, technology is going to get cheaper, and this will be very common moving forward. Okay. So the large language models, we are all familiar with that, I'm hoping. So there are different large language models that exist, ChatGPT being the famous one. And again, so there is a very prominent concept about prompt engineering in the large language models, because these large language models are based on how you interact with them. So if you know actually how to basically engage with these large language models, you'll be able to get more value out of these large language models. So these are the common ones or the famous ones. So for example, Claude is something where if you are doing an analysis, you can do that. Even you can generate a complete HTML page from that, a complete screen design if you're doing product designing. A lot of good stuff is happening. Media content creation. This video runs in. I can.
This is perfect if I want to create an audiobook to publish or sell.
Right. So this is just showing you like.
This is perfect if I want to create an audiobook to publish or sell.
Right.
I
So
fuoricampo di ieri non vincono le partite di oggi.
you can change runtime translations and
Den
some
som
stuff.
inte riskerar något riskerar ännu mer.
How you can do personalization. This is a great example of how you can do personalization. And when I say personalization, is like translating into real time.
The power of artificial intelligence.
It's taking time to load.
The power of artificial intelligence today is creating a world where there are.
Hey, Bob.
boundaries.
This is King Mikas from the web class today.
Il potere delle-
It was great to see you, and I look forward to working with you, AI-assisted entrepreneur.
So this is a tool by the name of Wordly. It can just translate live. This is what I want to show you. Okay, so this. Taking time to load.
The power of artificial intelligence today is creating a world where there are no boundaries due to languages. Il potere dell'intelligenza artificiale oggi sta creando un mondo in cui non ci sono confini a causa delle lingue. La IA rompe barreras idiomáticas y crea un mundo sin límites de lenguaje en la actualidad. Die Kraft der künstlichen Intelligenz schafft heute ein.
So again, the idea was to show that it's doing on a runtime. This is the tool that is being used. So I think most of you might be familiar with Zapier. This is a tool for automation. You can simply use these kind of tools to do automation. Again, so in the market, there are a lot of other tools. AI Explain is a tool that is being used to build the agents. So that's like, these are the few of the tools that that you can use. And again, there are, as I said, there are like close to 17,000 tools right now in the market, maybe more, that can be used to implement AI. So with that, let me switch back to the main screen. So, but by the way, Mavish, if you can run the last poll also. So the last poll for today is, what do you think are the barrier to implement AI? Okay. Yeah, keep the response coming in. Right, so we are almost there. So poll closing in next 5 seconds, please. If you can, please share your feedback. So we are going like 3, 2, 1. I'll share the results. All right, so yeah, very high percentage of lack of AI talent, change management, and culture. And I think this is a true depiction of where we are right now. Okay. So how AI is getting implemented? This is what I showed you just. So they are off-the-shelf tools. The tools that you just quickly saw very, very quickly, they were off-the-shelf tools. You can build your own customized workflows. You can build custom tool with LLMs, chatbot, clones, agents, prompts. So these are the core AI terms that you can implement. And then obviously you can train your team into a few of the things. You see, you have to start off from some point. Even getting your hands towards prompt engineering or building small co-pilots can help you a lot. This is an AI opportunity radar. Again, this is from Gartner. This just give you an idea in which areas AI can be implemented. And I've converted this into this very comprehensive list where AI can be implemented. Again, the question could be like, where should we start off from? It depends on where you see the maximum value or the major value. At this point in time, marketing and sales are the two very common areas where AI is being heavily deployed. Then you have customer service, HR and recruitment. I think this is more of kind of a priority as well. But again, it depends on which area is your focus area and you can deploy these tools. Lastly, very important, leadership and culture, right? So you can use different AI tools to improve leadership and build culture as well. So there are certain tools in AI that can give you sentimental analysis and tell you even your leadership effectiveness. So few last slides. I know we are very close to the time, but let me give you a very quick 6-step process as to how you can think about AIfying your company. So this is again referring to the question that was also asked, that we have done some form of automation. We are working towards AI, but the stuff is still not clear. So what you can do is you can follow this 6-step process. And the first step is to identify which areas to impact. You do an interview with the team members, even if you do it or you have someone do it for you. But this is just a 6-step process which can help in any company in AIfying their business. So identify the areas to impact, interview the team members, because this is very important to understand what the team is working on and where are the areas that they are currently automating and what further automation can happen. Then you strategize different AI options. You develop bespoke solutions or pilot solutions, which you run and test on. You implement those solutions. And then you monitor and tweak for excellence. So this is a very simple 6-step process that you can follow. And this would also be aligned with the roadmap that I showed you on the AI strategic implementation framework. This can be aligned with that as well. So if you follow this 6-steps process, you can AIfy your business. Now, how to get started, right? So my suggestion to businesses is always that rather than starting in just like haywire fashion, start off with a future ready assessment and the second one should be AI ready assessment. So there is a slight typo here. So this is AI ready assessment, and then you can have a future ready assessment. So the future ready assessment is where you see your current tech situation, you see your data capture situation, you see your team adoption capability. And then the second is you do an AI readiness assessment where AI can benefit the most, what workflows could be AIfied, and what AI competencies exist. So this will give you a picture as to what you have right now and what you want to change. And this will create a map. Again, this map would be kind of close to your AI strategy as well, but rather than going into the complete AI strategic implementation, you can start off with this very concrete 2 assessments. These are very kind of long assessment. It can take up to a week to 2 weeks. Can be done in few hours, but normally it takes some time so that you get a very good idea of where you want to go with the AI. So with that, we are coming close to the presentation, and I think we are right on time also. So before I just share the last slide, any questions, anything that you or so far, like so this ends the section 3. So let me just know in the chat if section 3 is clear. Lead qualification, yes. So specifically in sales and lead, this area has been exploded by AI. The only thing I think what you need to do is to get to the right tool and figure out, and this is specifically directed towards Mehtab, you need to figure out where the cost benefit analysis is, because obviously these tools have a cost associated with it. So I'm working with a tool right now, specifically in this area by the name of Story Brand. It's a tool which actually does an audit of your website as well, whether the content and the website structure is accordingly. Yes, Story Brand is a famous book by Donald Millers. They have developed a tool by the name of storybrand.ai. I don't know how powerful this tool is, so please don't quote me on that later. I'm just trying to explore it right now. But I'm just sharing that this lead generation area is exploding so much. And there is another tool, maybe I'll share it directly later on, Mehtab, with you. It's a tool from Frank Kern, very popular guy in marketing, and it's also a lead generation tool. So I'll share it later with you. So yeah, so any questions here? So just to summarize, and maybe you can then let me know if there are any questions. So key takeaway. So what we talked about in the three common areas that need to understand. AI is a tool, not a magic solution. Align it with your business goals. The first step is to define your strategy and plan, which requires data readiness and stakeholder buy-in. Every team member needs to be on the same page. And one of the questions when I ask these with different leaders is how you bring everybody on the same page. Where is that one page? Because the page does not exist. And if you look at the AI strategic implementation map, or that's the one page that you can develop. And lastly, transformation hinges on culture, leadership, ethics, and talent. So in order for real transformation, it is not just about using a CRM tool or any other tool. It has to be a 360 kind of an area where you look into all these elements. So with that, I think I'm done with my presentation right on time, just 2 minutes over. If you have any question, I'm open for Q&A. So you can write it in chat or you can. Yeah, so for courses, you see, I think without actually getting into more details, I would not be able to recommend, but so semi-technical and strategy roles. So I think you can start off with the basic, like understanding Gen AI, understanding the business implication of AI. So I think you can do these things. And again, before people maybe drop out, I think I must share this also. I understand this was a session and a lot of things that I shared and kind of bombarded at you. So I'm on behalf of like HUB47 as a thank you note, and for you to spare your time in, you can use this link, Calendly link, to schedule a 30-minute complimentary strategy call with me. Let's say if you have some question that you want specifically answered for your business, I'll be more than happy to dive into that particular scenario, look at your strategy, just try to understand your business and maybe share any insight that I can with my experience. So this is specifically for people who have just joined and have shared the precious time with us. So take a grab with this link. This link would be available or the times would be available for next 2 weeks. So please make sure if you really want to get in touch, you can schedule a call here. And if you just want to have an introductory call as well, you can schedule in the next 2 weeks. All right. So with that, I think I'm done. Mavish, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shiraz. इसमें काफ़ी valuable information or insights थी, and it's a great starting point, especially जो आपने worksheet share की है. I think doing that is going to be really great for all of the businesses who have joined us today. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. और इसकी recording हम इंशाल्लाह YouTube पर भी upload करेंगे. और अगर आपको हमारी वर्कशॉप्स के साथ कीप अप करना है तो प्लीज़ हमें सोशल मीडिया पर फॉलो करें. हम फ्यूचर वर्कशॉप्स के बारे में भी पोस्ट करेंगे. थैंक यू.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Thank you, Mavish.
Thank you so much, Shiraz. Thank you so much. Thank you, team.
All right.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Ji.